Rev up your engines!
Well, here's an article I read. It's kind of a misnomer here. It says, water engine on the move for the first time in history breaks power records. People always ask me, Scotty, can they make motors that run on water, right? And now this makes it look like they made a motor that runs on water. No, it's a boost system. They're trying it out to make race cars run on hydrogen. The problem with race cars running on hydrogen is they're running at really high RPMs, right? And they have a tendency of backfiring and running poorly and building up carbon when you use hydrogen. So what they plan on doing, and they've got test ones. They haven't actually used them in real races, but the test motors have a water injection system. So instead of allowing it to get so hot that it backfires and has problems in the engine, the water is sprayed in, and not only does it cool it down, but it gives it a boost, a steam boost, right? It has to be done perfectly. Don't go out there and start squirting water in your engine, because you squirt too much, it'll hydrolock and blow your engine up. But this is all run by computers, right? And they're saying, well, in the future, this will let us use hydrogen race cars, right? Now, as for the regular ones of us, it has really no bearing whatsoever, because you're not running your car on hydrogen to begin with, and you're not racing around with the stupid thing. They have run cars, they've tested cars on hydrogen. The Air Force did it decades ago, and they can run perfectly fine. They're not race cars, you're not racing, you're driving normally, and they can work perfectly fine. So, those of you who might say, oh, Scotty's so stupid, he says there's no such thing as a water engine. These guys just made one. No, they didn't. They made an ancillary system that sprays water to keep it from overheating. Now, hey, even in World War II, to dead some of their fighter planes, they did water injection to get power boost so their planes could escape. Like when they're getting attacked by a P-51 Mustang, they turn on the water boost. It would spray antifreeze right into the engine, give them a boost to make the engines go faster. Now, it made the engines blow up earlier, but I guess if somebody's shooting at you with 650 caliber machine guns, you really don't care if the engine blows up. If you can get out of the way, at least you've escaped, and you can land a plane with a broken engine or jump out later. So don't try to put water injection into your car, believe me, because if you do, you probably do it wrong and you'll blow your engine up. Well, this just proves I'm not just whistling Dixie. Last year when I said Toyota's only going to make the twin-turbo V6 in their Toyota Tundras instead of their venerable V8 that could run forever, I said it's going to bite Toyota in the rear end. Guess what? It has. Check this out. One of your viewers sent me this. Jason Watson said, check this out. Manager Special, 2024 Toyota Tundra, $43,500. This Toyota Tundra is now the same price as the Toyota Tacoma. And on the Manager Special that he got an email, it says, all reasonable offers will be considered. They've lost their luster. The whole thing about the Tundra was big V8 engine can run forever, right? And as I said, guy brought me one of these twin-turbo Tundras, the new one, with the V6 twin-turbo, and this one was even a hybrid version, right? And the thing only got 19 miles a gallon on the highway. If you have a big, heavy truck, it's going to get crappy gas mileage if it's running on gasoline. That's how it goes. Then when you tow something, the gas mileage goes way down. And let me tell you something. If you tow something with a V6 versus a V8, you lose even more gas mileage. The smaller an engine, the more weight it pulls, the worse gas mileage it's going to get in comparison to a bigger engine that was made for towing stuff. So I know they're getting all into this EPA. Well, we got to get better gas mileage ratings for our vehicles. You're selling a big truck. Leave it alone, Toyota. Don't ruin it by putting a V6. It's a stupid idea. And yeah, you got to meet this and that. People have to buy them, just like electric cars. The government's pushing us to buy that crap. They can't force us to buy it yet, right? And they can't give them away. Ford's shuttering production of the electric F-150 Lightning electric pickups way down. They're producing much less because nobody wants to buy them. Well, it looks like it's been a nightmare year so far, 2024, for Tesla. Their stock is dropping. Well, the reason the stock's dropping recently is because not only did they not make the original estimates of how many cars they're going to make, but then Wall Street revised it to lower, and then when it came out, they didn't even reach the lower limits. So far this year, we're only talking about 3 months, people. Tesla's lost 33% of its value in 3 months. People are starting to realize, hey, it's a rich man's game, Tesla. Average Americans are not buying them. I'll give you a perfect example. I just drove from Tennessee to Rhode Island. You know what I saw? I saw one Tesla all that way. But I took a vacation in Mendocino, California. I saw hundreds of Teslas everywhere in California. Realized like the average house in Mendocino is like 1.1 million. The average house, not the expensive ones, right? So yeah, rich people are driving them, right? There's only so many rich people are going to buy these things. Regular Americans are not going to buy them. Right? And then, of course, Tesla comes out now. He says in the future, don't worry, I'll make a real cheap one soon. Yeah. He's making these expensive. All of a sudden, he's going to make cheap ones. He's got enough problems with his expensive ones. He makes them even cheaper. They'll have even more problems, right? Let him cry. He's not the richest man in the world anymore, old Elon. He's still got plenty of money, right? But some of these stock guys are saying that Tesla was the biggest boondoggle of the stock market in the last couple of decades. And I probably have to agree with it in terms of its size. People were saying, look, it's worth so much money. It's so much money. No, it isn't worth so much money, right? This company has only made cars for a short period of time. They should never have been valued that high. But that's how it always goes. Just like the gold rush. All these people thought they were going to get rich. A handful of people got rich. The rest of them lost all their money. So Elon, he got rich. He's on the top right. But now it's starting to come down to reality. Well, it's bad enough that Ford builds their cars poorly. They don't seem to fix them very well either. Here's an email from a man called Douglas Becker. And he says, now the dealer says they can't fix the brakes in my 2008 Ford Escape Hybrid because the parts aren't available. It can't be made roadworthy, so they want me to pay them $3,300 for what they've already done. And then I'm responsible for selling it to a junkyard who's going to give me $307. I realize I'm never going to get the car back, so I went to an attorney for advice. I didn't want to break the law or anything, but hey, I'm not paying it for a car I have to get $307 from a junkyard for after paying them $3,300. And I think it's disgusting, you know? I mean, if they couldn't get the part to fix the car, they should have said, well, we can't fix it, sorry, away you go, right? Not do a bunch of stuff to the car and then say, well, we can't get the part, you owe us $3,300 and it's not roadworthy because the brakes aren't safe, so you're gonna have to sell it to a junkyard and get $307 for it, right? The dealerships aren't Ford Motor Company. They are privately owned companies that Ford gives the rights to sell their cars and fix them too, right? The guy's got a car. They said, oh, the part's not available. We're not going to fix it anymore. Realize one thing. There is no law. A lot of people think there's a law that, oh, they got to make parts for 10 years for a car. But no, they don't. They only have to make parts available. They don't even have to make them. If somebody else is making them, third party, it's still okay. As long as they can fix the car while it's under warranty. This car's way out of warranty, right? After that, they don't have to make a single part for them. So, my advice, don't buy one of their cars. You won't get stuck like this guy did. Here we go with more scams to get government money and our taxpayer dollars paying for companies, right? In this case, it's a Texas fuel cell gigafactory. And here's the deals, the sweetheart deals they get, right? It's Ballard Technologies, and they make fuel cells and batteries, all kinds of stuff. They're going to set up a 3 gigawatt fuel cell factory in Texas. So why is Ballard investing $160 million in Texas? Well, here's why, because they're getting a lot more back. They're going to get a grant for $30 million for providing high output manufacturing of 20,000 fuel cell stacks per year for stationary and transportation. So this is not just buses and stuff. It's also for stationary power, right? Wind and solar power so they can store it. Then they get another $10 million for the government for, get this, to bring down energy and water consumption rates related to the manufacturing of fuel cell components. Of course, they use water like mad in many parts of Texas, right? Water's worth a lot of money. They have water wars all the time. Well, these are water hogging things. They never talk about that, the greenies, right? The stuff pollutes like mad when they're building it. And also, get this, the Internal Revenue Service is providing $54 million in investment tax credits. It goes on, right? I mean, why is the IRS giving these people a tax break? It's ridiculous. And this is money from the Inflation Reduction Act, right? The IRA, the joke. It makes inflation worse. It doesn't reduce it, right? So if you ever wondered why everything's messed up, well, guess what? The government's giving my money and your money away. And who's it giving it to? These big corporations for unproven technologies that if they go bankrupt, what is it to them? It's our money they're spending. Lisa Murray says, my 99 Saturn SL2, the engine cranks, but it won't start. I drove it and it worked, but it cranks slower. Now, I can unlock the door. The car cranks, but it won't start. I noticed the clock isn't working, and the dome light doesn't come on. You're probably just a dead battery. Your battery's going out. Here's the thing. Modern cars have so much electronics on them that they need a tremendous amount of electricity to start the car. You got to crank the engine. You got to get the electronic ignition system working. You have to get the electronic fuel injectors to work. You have to get the electronic fuel pump to work. Even though your battery cranks the engine, it might not have enough power to start the car. And you said it cranked a little slower. So that's my advice. Just get yourself another battery. You can have it load tested at any auto parts store. They'll probably say, lady, your battery's bad. They'll test your alternator at the same time if they don't tell them you want to test it, because it could be both of them are going out, right? But back in the day, cars were simpler. And if your car cranked and didn't start, it wasn't the battery, because they'd crank and start right up because they were so simple. But today, you're using all the power in the battery to crank the engine over, and there's not enough left to get the ignition and the fuel injection system work. So odds are you just need a battery. Have it load tested. You'd find out. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.